Hey, hold on a second before you go any further.
You tighten down some more. Those was rocking.
All right, good. So far, so good. You're good. Where we'll be working today, folks. Normally it's not this grown up. We haven't been able to get back here and do much in the way of maintenance on the clearing area in a while, not since early March, I think. So this is the beginning of June and we really need to get back here and get this done.
Want me to go in the front?
Back here on the back. We're gonna put it right here towards the end. Okay? Right here. for some more ventilation. So I will not open this up just yet. We just put it into position and I can hear them. You probably can hear that too. A little hum in there. So anyways, this has always been a more productive hive for me. I would imagine they probably are filled up at this point. They're probably ready for another honey super if I had to guess. I love these Apiary hives. They're really good when it comes to doing stuff like this. The ability of closing off the front entrance can't be beat. Being able to control things like airflow, ventilation, temperature, feeding internally, transporting and moving. These are by far some of the best hives for doing something like that. Now they do have the ability where you can buy these attachments that go on a typical Langstroth hive, a wooden body Langstroth hive, excuse me, to be specific there, that will allow you to close off the front entrance. But I have to admit, these are, in my opinion, the best, bar none, for being able to do that. So he's removing the leftovers from whenever we installed these packages back early in the spring. We will not get to do an inspection today while we're back here. I have so much work to do. I will not have time to suit up and get an inspection done today. We will not open this up until we are ready to leave, because whenever we do, these bees are going to come out of here in a hurry. This hive is about a half-mile line of sight, almost, not quite, but close, from where, it's probably 3/8 of a mile, from where we were at before. And we had to transport this on the back of the four-wheeler, as you saw, all the way back here to where the bee yard is going to be permanently. This is still a work in progress, so please be kind. We know there's a lot still to be done. This normally does not look this grown up. Typically, we do come back here and do maintenance from time to time, but we just have not. The weather has not been at all cooperative to us this year in many ways. It's been good in other ways, bad in some. It's, you know, like whenever I'm off work on the weekends, it wants to either rain or, you know, it's not a good day to come back here. You know, it doesn't take long for this grass back here to grow up. The area that we're in back here is notorious for bear problems, and what we're going to do is we're approaching this in much the same way as you would any security program that you have, where you are going to have the potential for, you know, uninvited guests perhaps to show up, or people to, or animals anyways, to come in and enter your perimeter. So what we're doing, we're using a combination of regular fencing. We are using electric fencing along the top. There were a lot of trees back here, small trees, you know, in the 6, 8, you know, 10-inch range, something along those lines at the base. Some trees were dead back here or dying. The canopy was mixed. This was one of the clearest spots that we had, but we had to go through and we had to cut out quite a few, well, a lot of small trees. The goal is to make it to where we can more easily get in and out with the roadway back here. That still is to be determined. Basically, we're still a work in progress. You can see the bees are really active today, which is good. All of these except for one were started this year. One had some additional bees added to it. And you can see here, I'll zoom in, a lot of activity on that one. Good amount of activity on that one. So what we're going to do today is we're going to work clearing through here. I want to try to get some of this cut back, at least around the fence line anyways, and then we'll continue to work. I'll need to come back here one evening and shut those hives up so that we can actually get in here closer, and then put some, you know, something basically to block off introducer on these. It'll have to be on a day when it's going to be on the cool side though, since get everything back here cut down. I will only have to do that, if all goes well, twice this year. Everything back here is going to hit a point in mid-July where it will stop growing. we can continue, we're going to need to switch our heads on our weed eater. This is a steel weed eater that has removable heads. The one that we were just using is a brush cutting head. It is excellent for cutting brush. As you can see, it was able to take care of stuff up to about 1/2 inch with no real problem. You can go a little bit beyond that, actually, with a little bit of some resistance. 1/2 inch and below is actually in the ideal zone for that brush cutting head. Anyways, to be able to continue though, we're going to have to load up our weed eater with some line. This one's a little different in that you actually have to feed the line into, there are some holes here. And I'm going to ask and see if we can see that on camera. Right here. You can see that one's already in, and this one goes in here. Okay? So what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to feed in the line into that area before we can wind it. Now, we may or may not be able to get this in here, because whenever I cut this before, my knife was a little dull, and it left a little bit of an imperfection on the end of this. So I may have to cut that. There it went. You got it. Sometimes you have to really cut those things flat. Maybe use a pair of scissors or wire cutters. Anyways, now intuitively you would think that the line would wind this way. It doesn't. It actually winds the opposite. And there is a directional indicator right here that says line this way. And that is the direction it actually has to be wound. So we put it in that way, and then we're going to fold it back onto itself, like so. And now we just essentially just spin this up. Okay, so once you have this wound, and I like to leave this piece right here for right now still connected. That way if this thing uncoils after I get it put back together, or before I get it put back together, it's easy for me to wind it back. If you cut these initially and then like individual pieces and try doing it, then you're having to wind 2 lines independently and then keep them together. So I don't recommend doing that. I just put them in individually, but then I keep them together until I'm ready to put my head back on. So right here, we have the weed eating head. Spring inside of here. Don't lose the spring, otherwise this will not work. It will not feed properly. So very important. Now, once you have this on, now all I have to do is just come along here and put that down like so. See that? Because it's still together, I can still hold this together. If this thing uncoils, I can just pull it back pretty easily. So make sure it's in the right groove. Put your cap back on. Sometimes this could be the tricky part, because it may not want to snap in place just right. If you've done it good, you can see how that's still together. Real nice, real neat, didn't have any problems, no uncoiling, didn't give me any issues. Just make sure before you cut this, that everything is in, okay? And for those who didn't see me take this out, all you have to do is just squeeze this in to pop it out. You do it on both sides, and this whole cap will pop off. So there we go. So now, pocket knife. Mine's a little dull. Sorry, I've been cutting too much weed eating line lately. So I'm going to go through and do a little bit of maintenance on my knife. Always cut away from you. Okay, I hope you know that. This one is a really good knife. It's got some little mechanical assist on the side, little lever, comes in handy. So there we go. So now we're ready. Now one other little thing about the steels, they have a plastic piece in here which I don't like. I gotta say, I love the steel brand overall, but of all of the failure points, and if anyone from Steel is watching this, if you can send me some of these, I'm just kidding. But of all the failure points, though, on the Steel weed eater, this is the one that drives me bonkers. I've had to replace these multiple times. I don't think it's because I'm doing anything wrong. I think it's just a poor engineering design. This really should be made out of metal or something that's more resilient than this plastic, junk. So anyways, that goes in place like so, but without it, if you don't have that, it will not work. So keep that in mind. So now all you have to do is put the steel back together and we're ready to keep going. All right, so we made a little bit of progress back here today. In case you didn't realize, that's my daughter's weed eater. That's the reason she's using it. She'll tell you in a quick minute who that weed eater belongs to. So I get to use the other stuff, but the weed eater belongs to her. Sometimes she lets me use it, every now and again. Yeah, if I'm lucky. So we did manage to get enough of the brush cut back here, at least for right now. We're going to take a break. I'm starting to get a little bit hot. Bees have been trapped up since we brought them back here. So for right now, we're just going to go ahead and call this quit for the day. Only got about a quarter of what we wanted to get done in terms of honestly getting everything cut. If you're wondering why are we using a weed eater to do this, well, it's because where the apiary is at, where the bee yard is, it's hard to get any equipment back here right now except for just a four-wheeler. So we're kind of limited to hand tools, weed eaters, chainsaws, whatever we can fit in the wagon whenever we're able to bring that back here. I don't feel comfortable at this point bringing a push mower back here yet. We still have a lot of rocks and leftover stumps in the ground, things that we've cut off relatively flat with the ground, but they still can have a little bit of a rise to them. So we have a little ways to go before we can really get to the point to where we feel comfortable bringing any type of mowing equipment back here for right now. But we're getting there. We've made a lot of progress over the last year and a half. I still have a long way to go. I'm hoping that by the time the summer is finished that we will have everything back here nice and pristine. And then all we have to do is just bring either a riding mower back here, a push mower back here or something, and then zip, and we're basically done. We're still probably the rest of this year away from getting to that point. We'll get there before long though. I mean, really this year we'll get it complete, and then next year I think we'll be in a much better position to continue to expand the apiary, to continue to grow what we're doing, continue to cut and clean, and just to basically make progress towards our goals. So that's all you do, is every day you make a little bit more progress towards your final goal. Today, a little bit of progress towards this. Tomorrow afternoon, we'll be back out here again. If all goes well, if the weather permits anyways, we'll be doing some more clearing and cutting, and hopefully get the rest of this nice and cleared. And whatever we need to, then we can come through the rest of the week and do some additional clearing as we need to. So that's it for right now. I'll just close with just showing you me releasing the bees. Not the beast, the bees. Got it. You can carry it. All right, here we go. They are reorienting themselves. See those circular flights? Those are circular orientation flights. They're fine. They're doing circular flights. They'll fly up higher and higher and higher to reorient themselves. See them doing circles? They're about a half mile away from where they were before. I'm hoping that they do not fly back to their old location. We'll have to wait and see. So far, so good. They haven't been too aggressive. Not after being shook up and shaked around, moved around. I guess I'd be pretty upset if someone locked me in my house and moved my house a half mile down the road, shook me up, and then 12 hours later or whatever, turn me loose, I probably would be a little bit upset. So 12 hours, that's about the time it took in between. Actually, it's more than that, truthfully. I closed these up last night about 10 o'clock, and it's about 2 o'clock in the afternoon right now. So, I mean, that's been at least 14 hours that they've been trapped. Actually, about 16 hours they've been trapped inside of their house. So they're doing their cleansing flights right now. They're doing their orientation flights. They are basically, they're getting ready for the day. They're not used to this. Ideally, it'd be better maybe to wait until tomorrow morning, but the temperature is getting up in the 80s right now. And if I wait much longer with that little bit of ventilation, I'm going to have a lot of dead bees in there, and I do not want that right now. So I've got to take a risk so that we don't end up with a potential problem where the bees end up dying. So a little bit of a risk on that one, but it's one you have to just kind of take. So that's it for right now. Thank you very much for joining us. I hope that you've enjoyed this, I guess you say, episode. We've had a very eventful day already. We have a lot more work ahead of us for the day. This is only a fraction of what we do on a day, but this is at least on my days off. This is what I do. I tell people that I work a full-time job so that I can homestead, in my spare time. If anyone understands homesteading, that's a bit of a joke there. So I kind of say that tongue in cheek, just a little bit. So, all right. Thank y'all. Have a great day. Homesteading Outlaws signing out.